the NBA situation right now with what's going on with LeBron, right? Or not just LeBron. There was Maury, right? The Houston GM makes a comment about what's going on over there, and then they're upset, canceling all preseason games, and then all of a sudden the owner of Houston makes his comments, and then from there Adam Silver says, "I support freedom of speech." Steve Kerr didn't want to say anything because he kind of didn't have wasn't too educated on the situation at that time. Popovich said a few words. And then LeBron says maybe he misspoke, right? What he shouldn't have said. So for me, I look at that and say, okay, why is this happening? I want to kind of get your thoughts as well. Why are they doing this? Okay, why would they be doing this? Is it political? To me, it's not political. To me, it's 1.5 billion viewers there. Same reason why U.S. is trying to make movies over there, and you're getting Rock making movies doing $600 million a year with giving love to China versus just doing it. It's another market. Actually, to me, that's pretty honest because it's money play.
Right.
It's not political play or anything. Man, we can sell 1.5 billion people more shoes. We can sell them more media. We can go out there and get the games to go over there. Instead of making 40 million a year, we make 50 million a year, 60 million a year. In a situation like this, before I ask you the LeBron opinion, but in a situation like this, do you process it from the standpoint of, well, maybe Mitch has some a business that he's doing, and out of respect to his wife, he's just kind of giving the respect to China. And maybe Biden's son has some respect, and it's a son. You don't have 50 sons. You got a couple sons. It's blood. He's just trying to protect his son to do what he's doing. Do you think that is an acceptable reasoning to allow them to do what they're doing, or should it be America first because of the responsibilities that you have, then your kids, your wife, your family? How do you process that?
Well, let me put it this way, and this was really something I had told my wife leading up to 2016 elections. Now, you were in the military, right? If I had any of the relationships that I just talked about, there is no way I could have a security clearance. Wouldn't happen. I could not get that through the system. It would not grant me a top secret security clearance.
If you were, let me clarify, if you're Mitch McConnell or Joe Biden with those relationships, you wouldn't be able to get the security clearance that you have.
Right.
Fair enough. Okay.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
This is just facts. So, if I had taken my personal email or my work email and basically taken that all off and put it on a server and had some classified message, what do you think would have happened to me?
You're fired. You're
court-martialed.
Yeah,
right?
Court-martialed. Absolutely.
Kicked out.
It's not even 180.
Right? No,
you're done.
There's no doubt.
Sure.
And so, as you see these things, these kinds of things that I know that whoever gets elected as commander-in-chief has a responsibility. They are the chief diplomat. They're the chief law enforcement officer. They're the commander-in-chief. So how can that person have the kind of relationships that I, as a military member, can't even have a security clearance with, or do the kind of things that I would be fired or court-martialed with? So, it's pretty black and white to me. When you're the commander-in-chief and you are requiring the people that work for you, that swear an oath, that are working for you as the chief executive, particularly commander-in-chief, because commander of a military force is much different than being the senior executive at a company. It's a completely different type of authority over somebody. The authority to not just fire but also imprison, right? Because that's court-martial authority. And yet you do the things that you say or you must enforce that they cannot do. Then you've created a problem. And this is pervasive in our system, that our politicians can have the kind of relationships that we can't even allow our military members to have security clearances having. Let's leave that aside. Okay, we'll just set that aside.
Okay.
Now you have the President of the United States saying, here's a non-market economy that we basically let into the WTO in 2001, and they broke every rule in the book and continue to, and they're not going to stop. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to treat them just like we did prior to going to the WTO. Prior to going to the WTO, they had to have a vote on most favored nation status every single year. Right? Once that stopped, then corporate money started pouring in. Foreign direct investment started pouring into China, and they grew like crazy. They took 70,000 factories and 3.4 million manufacturing jobs. And so the President of the United States says, okay, they're clearly don't have any intention on following the rules. We're going to put tariffs on, because that's what we had before. We started and we let them in. We're going to do the same exact thing. And then you have Joe Biden and you have Mitch McConnell saying that's a bad idea. Now, do those relationships contribute to that? Or is it just because they believe that? I don't know the answer to that. But I guarantee you, any counterintelligence officer that brought me into interrogation asking me why I made that decision, they would have grounds to say, you're untrustworthy. You didn't report that, your relative was making, millions of dollars from the Chinese. Or you didn't report that you got millions of dollars from the Chinese. So I'm not saying that there's quid pro quo there, but there's enough of, hey, I don't like tariffs, to, hey, I've adopted Xi Jinping's worldview, to, hey, this is actually harmful to the United States. I leave it to other people to kind of figure that out. It's not for me to figure out. It is for me to say that if I had done it on active duty in the military, I'd either not have a security clearance, I'd have been court-martialed.